All right, so we're going to take my song Electric Gypsy and use it as a vehicle to kind of illustrate some of the ways that I think about um, songwriting and soloing, actually. It contains several ideas I think that might be helpful to you too, as far as in your own songwriting and your own melodic choice. I'm going to play the actual, just the basic riff of the song, and then talk a bit about some of the parts that it contains. Okay, so here's the song. It's in the key of D major. So obviously it's a melody contained in chordal work, which is something I love and something that a lot of us were inspired by Jimi Hendrix. In fact, that's the inspiration of the title of that song. It was a biography I was reading called Electric Gypsy. Snagged it right from that. Full disclosure, folks. And what's interesting about this melody is that it's largely based on the third of the chord. So if you just learn how to spell each chord, the first chord is D major, which contains the notes D, F sharp, and A. The F sharp being the third of that chord. So I've got an open string D, and I play the melody on the G string. There's that F sharp. That's that important note of the chord that defines whether it's major or minor. And to me, that's the sweet note. The root, of course, is the tonic. It's a very, very stable note, but not the most flavor, so to speak, as well as the fifth, the A. But the third, that gives you that flavor of major or minor. If it were D, it'd be a very sad song. Not the same vibe. So we've got the F sharp. The next chord is A major. We've got A, C sharp, and E. So that C sharp figures in largely to that melody. So the next chord is B minor. So I voice lead. You can kind of see it in that B minor chord shape that you already probably know. I use the old Jimi Hendrix wrap around the neck to thumb that low B note. Next chord is G major. So it's just those four chords: D major, A major, B minor, to G major. I'm kind of thinking of it in this shape here. So now this doesn't really contain the third so much featured, but it's just a nice little bluesy riff. But there it is. So like I say, contained within that some very important nuggets for me. If I'm songwriting, my natural melodic ear wants to hear the third of that chord at some point in the bar that it's happening. So if there's a D major chord going on, if I'm writing a song, it's likely to be featured. Or if I'm soloing, that's the note that most defines to me and the listener what the harmony is. And it seems that all the players that I gravitated to be attracted to or whatever playing wise over the years and that inspired me were guys that really had a command of this. And so guys like Robin Ford and Larry Carlton, Steve Lukather, but even before then, like Wes Montgomery and Pat Metheny, Pat Martino, they were very adept at, if there was no other instrumentation going on, just by listening to their lines, you would hear that harmony outlined in some way, shape, or form. And a lot of that's based on the third. So thinking of it in an improvisational way, you can utilize that idea by just isolating the third of each chord. And sometimes it's easy to do that by just visualizing the actual chord shape. Yeah, I've come to realize after all these years how much not only am I guided by my ear, but my eye too, because I can see in the chord shape, I know where that third is. There it is, there's the F sharp. So if I want to feature that over that chord and play it into the A major, there's the C sharp, it's in that chord. B minor, there's that D, that's the third. B, D, F sharp. And in the G major, it's there, or if you're more familiar with that chord shape. So you can make a little exercise out of that by, as the chords go by, and you'll hear the harmony go by. To a higher B for that, the third of that G chord. So I'm going to improvise a little bit now, kind of basically staying in a D major pentatonic, but also utilizing the thirds of those chords as they go by. So see if you can hear the harmony as I'm improvising. Okay, so again, I was utilizing, some of that pentatonic that we all know. Looks like the same pentatonic as B minor, because that's the relative minor of D major, right? And then adding those chord tones. Actually a very good exercise to actually just play the chords for a while. It's a great idea to work on rhythm playing, so you could just because it does help you visualize where some of these chord tones are, in addition to where your most basic scales would be formed around. So when I'm playing major pentatonic, I see that part of that triad as the basis is kind of like the home. Like that. So if you learn different chord shapes, of course, are probably the first D major you learned, to A major, to B minor, or good old G major. Just playing the octave or where you were here. That D major. There's that. It's kind of like that D major form for the A. So many possibilities. Just being aware of the chords and how to spell a simple triad within those chords, and voice leading with some of the thirds.